Weekly official review check-in with the head of NFL officials, Mike Pereira, joining us from the league headquarters in New York. How are you there, Mike?
Rich, having a good week so far.
Okay, that's good. Let's talk about the one play that is the water cooler discussion in many places around America this week, and that's the end of the Atlanta Falcons-New Orleans Saints game in San Antonio. The Falcons setting up for a game-winning field goal, but Tony Bryant of the Saints is called for holding right there, negating the missed field goal by the Falcons. So instead of going into overtime, the Saints find out that they've got to get back on the field, and sure enough, the Falcons wound up kicking a game-winning field goal, Mike. So my question for you is, why do your referees blow the whistle at such a key juncture for an infraction that didn't seem to affect the play?
Well, I mean, you know, did it affect the play? Did it not affect the play? I mean, there's risk and reward here. This is an illegal tactic that is taught. It's called a pull and shoot. And, you know, if you're going to run it, it's not the first time it's been run this year. It's not the last time it's going to be run this year. You know, you're going to do something like that, you run the risk of being called. I can't recognize intent. I'm not going to wait and not throw the flag unless the kick is blocked. It's a foul. It's a foul. It's taught. The intent is there. And if we do see it and we put the pieces together, we're going to call it, Rich. And I got to tell you, we're going to call it in the first quarter on a field goal block temp. If we recognize it, we're going to call it in the fourth quarter, and even if it's the last play. I don't like to be involved in the last play, but I don't want anybody taking advantage of a rule and having a game in that way either. So, I want to show you a couple things if you don't mind.
Sure.
We know this play that we've had where we get the clear pull and shoot, and you can see it that it's a pull. You got to have the two elements of a pull and shoot. You first have to have the pull, and then you have to have a shooter. And we do see here that we had both. So this is something that we want called every time. So that's the one element of defensive holding that we've been trying to focus on. Now here
we're going to get to the discussion of how many flags we've seen on the field and if there really is an increase in the yellow laundry as everybody seems to think. But before we get to that, I just want to stick with one last play from that Atlanta Falcons Saints game. It was the kick at the end of the first half in which Michael Boley sure seems to get some leverage to leap over the line to block the kick that led to 7 points right at the end of the half. Very, very key play here against the Saints for the Falcons. Why was there no flag called on this play? Sure looks like some leverage there, Mike.
Well, and you know, I've gotten as much chatter about this one as I have about the pull and shoot at the end of the game. But the leverage is what came into question here. And let me just tell you exactly how the rule is stated.
Sure.
You can't use your hands, you can't use your knees to jump on either a teammate or an opponent. You can't do it in an attempt to gain additional height. So if I jump on the guy or put my hands on him and use him to propel me to go higher, then that is a foul. But if you look here, in this situation, if I just jump over a guy and I'm not getting additional height, matter of fact, he's back on the ground before he jumps up a second time and then blocks the kick, that's not a foul. And the key element here is, again, that in that process of jumping over a player, that leverage, you must use him or you must use your teammate in the attempt to elevate yourself in an attempt to block the kick, and it didn't happen here.
He didn't touch anybody there, Mike?
You can touch anybody. This is not two-hand touch football we're playing. You can use your hands to jump over a player. You can use your hands to jump through a gap. You just can't use your hands or use your knees to get on a player, and then from that position on that player, elevate to get additional height to block a kick.
All right, let's talk about the flags. So many people think